Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Stop, Look, and Listen. I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. This week, we have a multi-hyphenate, a pillar in the industry spanning 60 plus years. She's a Tony Award-winning, Grammy-nominated singer, actress, and well-deserved Hollywood Walk of Fame honoree. She's back on Stop, Look, and Listen. We had her on a few years ago talking about her latest album, Imagine. This time we have her talking about her memoir. This is it. Marvelous and getting better. Miss Melba Moore. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. LeTroy.
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Okay. It's an honor to have you back on. Congratulations on the upcoming memoir. When did you decide that, you know what, I'm ready to write this and just kind of go deep into my experiences?
Well, I tried to do it a couple of times, but situations didn't work out. I was actually trying to do, a full autobiography, but I discovered over people and time, it's very intricate, involved, and complicated, and it takes a lot of time. So I really didn't, I've been trying to do it, but I didn't get to it until now. And I kind of went off and took some other directions to keep my life going. So my daughter said to me, "Ma, everybody got a book, but you, baby, you got to have a book, Ma." So I said, "Well, I've been trying." So she helped me get Kevin Taylor, who is my ghostwriter. I guess that's what you call it. This is my first book, so I got to learn the lingo here.
Mm-hmm.
To help me, write about my life. And we determined that we wouldn't try to do a full-blown autobiography just yet. Hopefully we'll be able to get to that if this memoir is a success, and then we'll take it step by step. So that's how we're proceeding. So the title, as you said, is This Is It, Marvelous and Getting Better. And I didn't think of any of that. Those are all clever little things, I think, to entice people to take a look at the book. But that's why you need some professionals. You can't just write the book yourself. So that's where I am with it now.
All right. So was that an easy process to open up old wounds? You pretty much just said it wasn't an easy process getting the book or the memoir written, but you deciding what to put in the memoir.
Yeah, well, so much time has gone by, so many or most of the wounds have healed. So looking back on them and opening them up is not so painful for me, but it's always involves somebody else, and it might be for them, or it might, in some cases, cause them some real trouble and problems from people in their lives. So I had to think of it from that point of view as well, not just how I feel about it or how it affects me. So those were some of the challenges I had with this. Some of the things I could write about, but they might affect other people in a negative way. So I'm not talking about those things. Some other things, I think I should wait and see if I get an opportunity to have some success with this before I open up other areas, because I think I need to be able to, when I have the privilege of folks interviewing me, of having people ask me certain questions, and I really be able to address them. So I don't want to bring them up if I can't talk about them yet.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Like I said, I love the title. For someone that has a laundry list of accolades that you've accomplished, how are you getting better?
Well, I feel like I'm taking the step to my next level of growth and maturity and advancement by not just living my life, but becoming the executive producer of it and trying to really, truly get in charge of it, because so many things have accumulated, but now they have to be put and kept in order, and I have to be in charge of it. So I think that's what getting better means now.
Just talk about the evolution of Melba Moore. How did you figure out how to stay relevant throughout these 60 years? Not only as an artist, but and keeping your sanity just as a woman.
Great questions. In some cases, some of the challenges kind of knocked me down or really kind of stopped my life and my career. So the first thing I had to do was figure out what's going to have priority. So I decided that surviving was the first priority.
Right.
And through that process, which is so basic, staying alive, staying healthy, staying well, I think that teaches you the real basic priorities in anybody's life. So if you're in communication, you can kind of pick the things that, first of all, keep you alive. Then you want to, what do you want to stay alive for? And what do you want to do? Well, you want to keep doing what you're doing. I love what I'm doing. So, okay, I have some diversity in that. So what's going to be the most important or the most central part? I feel like for me is, although there's been film and theater and acting and music, that music is an anointing. It's something that is a kind of central part of my DNA. So I looked at the pattern of things that have happened in my life. It seems like if I focused on music, other things came out of it, so that possibly that would be a pattern that would happen for me again. And I think it has happened. And you say, but how do you stay relevant? Well, God gave me some longevity of continuing to be revived again, or going to the next step again, or doing another record or doing another project again, until it's now become longevity, which means I can look back and see, oh, you have to stay relevant with whatever is current now, and things keep changing. So now that gets to be something with me where I've been relevant by people sampling me and bringing me along on their projects, and me going out and getting people who are current in whatever they're doing the decades that I've been moving along, to the point where I'm a mature senior citizen. So now I know I got to stay relevant with young people. That's who the next group of people is now, because now I'm really older.
Huh. And I see you on Instagram a lot, commenting, on like, what's going on, and, trying to shed light and, give positive reinforcement to a lot of situations. So, I mean,
Well, I mean,
is
that's Main Street now. If you're not there, you're not anywhere.
right. But I was just saying, like, even like throughout the versus battles, like I would see you commenting, getting into it, and we needed a Melba Moore versus. Like, who would you have gone
Well,
against? Like Stephanie?
I get a little help with that now.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
when you say verses, when you say Stephanie, what do you mean? I'm not sure.
So like the verses, when they were having like two artists playing or performing their catalog, celebrating the artistry, like I could see you and Stephanie Mills celebrating together.
Absolutely, we've been talking about it, but she's been too busy.
Yeah, she's on that tour with Shaka and Patty and
Yeah,
Miss Gladys.
yeah. So, but I hope when both of us have a moment, we will do some things together. We did one play together, a very short run, on the story of Dr. Dorothy Height.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about creating something where we really play ourselves, but we would create something based on our relationship and our lives together. So I think we'll probably pick that up at some point, because she wants to work with me and I want to work with her. And we're friends. We really like each other.
Right. Do you miss Broadway?
Miss it? You mean performing it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, performing on Broadway.
I can't say I miss it, but the other day I realized I've been away from it for quite some time, because someone invited me to do a new original theatrical project, and so I was reading reading the script, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not used to reading the script anymore. Maybe I don't feel like I miss it, but I guess I do, and I certainly don't want to even think about not going back. I definitely intend to go back, but I'm having a piece developed for me that's one woman play with music that's autobiographical, that I'll be executive producing. And I'll start with that and get back into theater, doing theater again.
Okay. All right. So just rewinding the history of Miss Moore. She was the first African American actress to take over a leading role from a white actress, Diane Keaton, in Hair. And then in Pearlie, you won the Tony, first for a black woman in that category. Um,
Right,
yeah, this,
first.
yeah.
Right.
So like, take us back, take us back to that time, like when you were breaking barriers and um, really taking Broadway by storm?
Well, you mentioned the first two plays that I did, and that was the first experience that I had in theater. Before that, I was a public school music teacher. So the first thing I did was say to my parents, could you please, because they were entertainers, could you please see if you could help me get into the entertainment field, because that's what I really like to do. I taught school because my parents were entertainers and they wanted us to have some stability and to, of course, have a good education. And so that's where I began. But once my dad started taking me around to some different agents of his and people, we started trying to figure out, how was I going to do that? And one of the people I ran into was Valerie Simpson, and she's the one who actually, she was just getting, I met her at somebody's office. I don't remember I don't remember the office, but we were in the outer office there waiting for our meetings. And so we started talking and exchanged numbers, and she told me that she booked recording studio backup work, and would I be interested in that? I said, absolutely, and that's how I got started in the industry. And one of the recording sessions was for a gentleman who was the music composer and conductor for the Broadway musical Hair, and they were still casting, so that's how I got into that. And then somebody from the cast, I still didn't have a manager or an agent yet, but one of the cast members told me about auditions for Pearlie, and that's how I got into that. And after that, after I got the Tony Award, once I got the Tony Award, I was invited to do everybody's television show. That's how I really got into television, as a guest artist on everybody's television show. And that's how I got into the industry. But I didn't have like a plan. It was just kind of following my heart, and then things happened in such a way. So that I guess as I progressed and got a manager, and he happened to be, he turned out to be my husband as well. And we really kind of focused on the recording career, but because that was his expertise, and of course it was my talent. So then I had a manager, and so I had both sides of the coin, because you can be very, very talented, but if somebody doesn't help steer your career, it won't happen. But the combination of artists and management was there, so I've had a really great, successful recording career. And now it's time to kind of document that stuff and see if, now that we have a really good base in terms of Black population as well as white for book buying, if I can learn that arena and see if I can get more control and executive produce my own life, so that I can see, well, what else do I want to do, and how do I want to take advantage of the opportunities that I have right now.
Right. Do you remember, like, how did you get the first record deal?
First record deal. Okay, I think it was probably as a result of being a studio backup. I met different people in the industry, because I remember going to England and discovering that some songs I had recorded had been released there, not here, and they were successful. So getting into the recording industry, I met a lot of different people and tried a lot of things, and some of them were released and had become singles, and, I was out there even before I really knew it, but that was the start of it. And then I, always pursued music, because I knew that. And that's what my family was, involved in. So I always met different people that gave me different opportunities to try to get a recording career, until I actually met my husband, who got me with Epic, Capitol, CBS, Buddha Records, all the different record companies that I finally wound up with. But I started out just kind of seeking and trying to find out what I could do on my own.
All right, so, like hits such as This Is It, You Stepped Into My Life, Love's Coming At You, Fallen. Do you have a favorite? I know they're all your children. Which one, like, performing is like, you know what, this is my favorite one to perform?
Well, one of my favorites is You Stepped Into My Life. I don't know why, except that it just has a feeling to it, and I think it's because it's really well written in the way that the Bee Gees wrote their song, so it's a really great song. Kind of stands up over time, and young people like it too. It doesn't matter, what culture group they belong to. They like that song. It's always fun. It's up tempo. It's dance, and I love the arrangement that Gene McFadden and John Whitehead put to it. So it doesn't really sound like a Bee Gees song anymore. They kind of took it and made it theirs, which of course really is Philly International, and they write some doggone good music and it stands up over time. So that's one of my favorites.
Right. Do you prefer up tempos or ballads more?
I think I lean toward ballads more. I think left to my own, I would probably sing all ballads, but you got to change the pace. You got to. So I've gotten used to singing up tempo songs, and I enjoy them very much. But I think a lot of times with the ballads, I get to show off all my little acrobatics, and really stretch out the emotional part of it, so you can kind of stretch out. Whereas as a up-tempo song, you kind of want to get to the point and then repeat it and keep it going.
So last time we spoke, I brought up how I felt Hush Productions is so underrated and like it doesn't get its just due. How do you feel? How do you feel that era will be remembered overall? Like with yourself and Freddie and Melissa and Kashif and Lilo and Paul Lawrence.
Well, my hope is because her dad, Charles Huggins, who started that whole thing, really doesn't have an interest in promoting himself or writing or communicating. He likes business and the entrepreneurial aspect of it. That's why the story's not out there. So my hope is that eventually she'll tell the story. She's the one who really encouraged me to stop, pay attention, do the book. And of course, I need to do that. But something as important as Hush Productions and what has contributed to R&B music and world music and our times, I believe needs to be done. So I'm hoping that she'll take, the bull by the horns and make sure that the story gets told.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she's pretty much your partner in crime now.
She's my boss. I'm the partner. She's the boss.
Oh, okay. Was that her on the phone before the interview? Oh, okay. Tell her hello.
Leading me away, yeah. Of course, with all the technology, we have to let them take what I'm not. If I try to figure out all that stuff, I wouldn't have time to still do what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. Be trying to learn it, it's too hard.
Oh, it'll drive you crazy.
I'm already there.
I'm telling you, it will. It will drive you crazy.
Yeah. It's hard. It's incredible. It's fabulous and it's powerful. And if you can be a part of it, because like the world of communications really is expanding, but it's still building on the base that what all of it was, not losing anything. I don't believe. I think there have been eras and decades before where people thought, well, you had to push that aside to have this, but you don't have to do that now. So you have a really broad base.
Yeah, and you talked about that, like you felt back when you were doing Broadway and television and music that the industry wasn't ready for that, and now it's like it's okay to be a multi-hyphenate. And do you feel like you was way ahead of your time?
Absolutely. Looking back, it wasn't anything that I knew or could have planned. I wasn't so smart. But I think, there's God in heaven. He directs things. And you said, well, I think I'll try this. No, that's not, and that's your heart and your spirit telling you, no, go here, go here. And so maybe I am kind of like a little prophet in a way.
Mm-hmm. You just mentioned that Charles Huggins, your ex-husband, was kind of like business and behind the scenes, kind of like not the most boisterous like you see a lot of managers and execs are today. Do you feel like if he was more in the vein of, some of these boisterous executives like a Damon Dash and I'm trying to think of who else, like a Suge Knight, things would have been different for your journey?
They would have been different, but I don't think they would have been as good because he's not competing for the spotlight with two different, very, very, very different parts of the same pie. So we could both have our worlds and actually feed each other, complement each other. You know, like a man and woman.
All right, so like you've worked with legends and seen the evolution of music from vinyl to streaming. Like, what's your take on the industry today? Like how it's
Lord,
changed?
it's so different. You got to figure out a way to make money doing that now. Because with the streaming, the record companies or the artists really don't make much money. So you have to, first of all, I know I put the right thing first. Survive and stay healthy because you're going to make your money on performances in other areas of how it works and figure out how to do some merchandising, some other things that repeat, the revenue stream that you need to have coming in. I mean, it's always been kind of basically structured that way, but it's really, really more that way now. Now, it may change again.
Because it's a necessity for you to be able to pretty much market and promote yourself, and then it seems like once you get to that point to where um, you've reached your ceiling, then that's when the label steps in and tries to grab a hold of you.
No, I'm not sure I'm saying that because right now um, it's really a huge independent market. So I don't know if I can take myself as an example, but I have an opportunity to work with several different labels, maybe on small projects or do a whole album. Like I have an album and I have a new hit single out now called No Filter with two different entities. Back in the day, you couldn't do that. As a small example, I don't know how, there may be other ways that you can function too. That's very different than it was before. So that before you kind of basically, by law and by the way things were done, could only work with a label. You couldn't produce or put yourself out. You can now. You can be the label. You can have a label. You can do it either way.
Facts.
Dr. Todd McLean provides periodontal and dental implant services in 2 convenient locations. They offer over a decade of experience treating patients, and appointments can even be scheduled in the evenings, weekends, or early mornings. Give them a call in Chapel Hill at 919-537-9774 or in Durham at 919-484-8338 or visit them online at gumsandimplants.org.
So like Lift Every Voice and Sing. It was added to the National Recording Registry. What did that recognition mean to you?
It means I've become more than just a little singer. Means I'm what do you call it?
Immortalized.
Well, part of history. I mean, and not just as a singer, but that's our national anthem, and that's important because of just being Afrocentric and having come here as slaves, and being a musician. Every country has a song that identifies them, but we didn't. How can black people, as musical as we are, don't have a song that represents us? But we had not been a nation, so I guess I get to be part of a historian.
I was at an event with my wife a few weeks ago, and they had someone sing the Star Spangled Banner, and then somebody walked up and was like, "You know what? I'm about to do Lift Every Voice and Sing." So that's one of the first times I'd seen that happen, but it needs to happen more. Considering
you and we have to instigate that wherever we have an opportunity. We have to remind ourselves because we haven't had cohesion. That's one of the things that's been a stumbling block for us. That it's very difficult for us to be united. We have to work at it. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
now I was gonna say, like, just considering the times we're in, would you consider doing another rendition with a fresh crop of artists?
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah. I've been busy with other things, but if I had the time, I would like to put together another group of people because maybe because of the time that I come from, it's still more vital to me. People have things that they want and that they need. We still need much, much further progress so that, we would have very important moments where we would come together and sing that song to remind ourselves that we are a nation. And we need to create reasons for us to do that again. And maybe there's more, maybe I'm more sensitive to that because of the time that I come from.
Yeah.
So it should be my privilege to do it again. I hadn't thought of it. I've been so busy enjoying my own little success here.
Nah, well, that's why I'm here. I'm here to throw these ideas out there for you and your daughter to ponder and decide whether it's worth exploring or not. One thing I totally either forgot or didn't know was the fact that you were one of the voice actors on All Dogs Go to Heaven.
You probably didn't know it.
I remember seeing that as a kid, and I was just like doing some research, and I saw that you were one of the voices on All Dogs Go to Heaven. So, was that some? How did that come about? How did you get into voice animation?
One of the people at our Hush Productions discovered the opportunity and brought it to me. Yeah, we had a really great management team.
Mm-hmm.
Go out and find good projects. Yeah. Matter of fact, her name was Jackie Reinhardt. That was her name. She found that for me.
So, in the book, you open up about the peaks and the valleys. Like, how did your faith and perseverance help you rebuild and keep going when you were dealing with those down moments?
Well, I can. There were individual situations and things that happened. But I can remember at a certain point where I was evicted. I was homeless. My daughter had run away. I found out accidentally that I was divorced, but I was still living with my husband. Just disappeared and fell apart. I was I had been blackballed in the industry. I mean, I know that now. Then I didn't know. I thought, how come I'm not working? Eventually, when I found out some of the things that were happening. And as it turned out, a gentleman by the name of Curtis King, not somebody that you should know, but you might know him because he has a theater company in Dallas. And he's actually working on developing my one-woman play with music, autobiography. Well, he called a gentleman by the name of Michael Matthews, who was important because he began the gospel theater genre that Tyler Perry took and made it into this $1 million black entertainment industry. And he was just starting it, and his audience was churches. He would pander, he would go to the churches and promote his project. So his audiences were totally church audiences, but his plays were actually what we call gospel plays. There was sacred plays. There were religious plays. There were comedies, of course, because we're black people. What else can we do, right? Mm-hmm. So, and he took me out on the road with him, and I stayed out there for about 2 years, and he paid me like $7,000. Excuse me, it tickles me to think of it. Cash, every Sunday after the Sunday matinee. But I didn't have no bank account.
So and you had the suitcase. You had the suitcase. You was stuffing money under the mattress?
Well, in my underwear. I was scared of leaving in a hotel because we were traveling, Huh? But the saints showed me how to do my money, put my money in money order so it wasn't so much. They showed me how to live that way. And so I had so much money, but I didn't have nowhere to live or a bank account. But that's how I've come from one place to the other. Somebody always helped me, or somebody brought me a project, or somebody helped me find my daughter, and she found me. I was sending my information wherever I was as I traveled on the road to several different people, so that if anybody saw her or found her, she could know where to call me. And eventually she did call me and came out on the road with me, and I got her back, things like that.
Well, just talk about that process of like not having your daughter around and just finally reconnecting. And like we've mentioned throughout this conversation, she's integral to everything that you're doing today.
Well, that time was just, I was so devastated until I'm sure I cried a lot and everything, but at a certain point, It's still going on. You don't know where she is. You're still homeless. This is a long period of time. I'm talking about a couple of years that this, horror went on. So after a while, you kind of just get numb. Yes. But the important thing was that the production really were religious, saved, sanctified people.
Mm-hmm.
I had become born again, but I did it through some televangelist or something. So the process had happened and everything, and I knew I was different. It was probably part of the reason why I lost my family and the people I was around, because I had changed and they hadn't. Plus maybe some other things too. But I remember being in situations on the road with that cast. The different members of them would come and sit with me on the bus, make sure I had company, It was a comedy, so we were always laughing. And gospel people are even funnier than regular people, so you can't really stay sad. And because it really were, it wasn't just a comedy, it was a religious comedy. It was healing me and making me experience from these people that I had just met the real presence of God that really fixed and changed me and made me like a whole new person. Plus, when I remember showing Michael Matthews a new apartment that I had gotten, that a friend, no, this wasn't a friend, Sylvia and Joe Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
are the ones that they're the ones actually who started rap.
Right. Sugar Hill Records.
Sugar Hill Records, right. Well, Joe Robinson got me this apartment in a place called the Galaxy. You'd have to see it. It's high up on the hill, so you can see the whole New York skyline from the George Washington Bridge down to almost Brooklyn. I'd never seen the New York skyline. My life just changed ridiculously, drastically. And but I didn't have any credit or any legitimate financial life, so I couldn't get an apartment. I had all this cash, but I couldn't get an apartment. So once again, I relied on someone recommending to talk to Joe Robinson, and he got me an apartment on his say so, because he brought a lot of different artists into that apartment building that he would do business with. So they knew him, so they trusted me. And so he told them, well, she can pay for it, but she doesn't have any, credentials just and she's a good person, you can trust her. That's how I got a roof over my head and an address again, so that I could finally get a bank account and, get an accountant and start all over.
Right. Do you learn more from your wins or your losses?
Losses. I answered that one quick, didn't I?
You did. It teaches you not to make those mistakes again.
Well, and it's jarring.
Uh-huh.
And when you lose everything, you don't even have a place to stay. You have to pay attention. You got to have a place to stay. And even worse than that, and I did find that during that time, once I was able to reconnect with my daughter, that there were times like she didn't have a place to stay. She would be staying with a girlfriend, or she didn't have a place to stay. Once she ran away, she didn't have a home. I thought she was with her father, but she wasn't. So you pay attention to those things. Okay, and I'm also saying I paid attention because it was me, but now I'm saying I'm discovering through these reconnections that my daughter's in this kind of situation. You're not going to let you, you would go crazy thinking that it's okay that your daughter's living like that. You pay attention. That's my point. You pay attention, and you figure out something to do. Maybe you didn't think about those things before, you didn't have to, but you figure out what to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all about survival instincts.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
In a world full of naysayers and sometimes internal doubt, do you ever have to remind yourself, I'm Melba Moore. I'm the Tony Award-winning actress, hit records, Hollywood Walk of Fame, honoree. Do you sometimes forget who you are?
I did, but because I have this book, I don't. Because it takes me It sounds funny. I don't, because it takes me to another level of having to articulate and represent that now and realize that I can't just enjoy myself and go from project to project to project to project because it's accumulated now and it has to be put and kept in order. And I am giving the privilege to talk about it. So I have to understand it and be in control of it. So I'm putting like a kind of a stop in terms of, oh, what's the next? What's the next? No, da, 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 da. What are you going to do with what you have? And how are you going to be in charge of it? Because that's what you have to leave to your daughter. So I'm in a different way of looking at everything now. And of course, my future, in terms of income and all that, and the basic necessities and survival, you think about that, but in a slightly different way. I have to be more mature and more in control of it.
Over 60 years in the entertainment industry, what are like a few of your top moments?
Well, the Tony Award, of course. My marriage and my family to Charles Huggins and my daughter. Whatever problems we have, it's still exquisite.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, having the opportunity now to be very mature, I'm healthy, I have a brand new project. I mean, I think with books and the internet, we have a new base for projects because 30 years ago, Black people didn't buy books like they do now. So you have many, many things to look forward to as well as to be grateful for and try to take care of.
Yeah. So not only are we celebrating the memoir, but you're going to be celebrated on November 3rd at the Kimmel Center in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be some performances, tributes, just a celebration of your legacy. How does it feel to be getting all of these flowers?
Well, I'm glad they didn't wait till I was gone, okay?
Huh?
And I've seen some of the tributes that have been done to, I've seen them done to Gladys. I've seen them done to Miss Aretha when she was here. I've seen how they do them. I'm saying, oh, okay, now they're going to do that for me now. I'm going to sit there and look and watch and say, I'm going to enjoy this.
Who would you like to, I guess, perform and give you a tribute?
I really haven't thought about that at all.
Right.
I'm just going to be surprised and entertained.
Okay. In our last conversation, we briefly brought up a biopic, and I was throwing around names that I thought would be the right fit to play you, and I mentioned Anika Noni Rose and Kelly Rowland. Has there been any more thought into doing a biopic?
I haven't thought about it, but Anika's already played me in Pearly. I'm joking, but Kelly Rowland, well, at least if she played me, I'd be sexy. So I mean, absolutely, I would be honored. People like that play me.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, we always love you. Like, don't say that you wasn't sexy back in the day. Men loved you.
They did.
All right, so like,
They thought I was cute.
uh-huh.
That was my genre of sexy.
Right. So like, you've broken barriers in television, theater, and music. What do you still dream about doing next?
Just accumulating it all, ordering it all, putting it into a proper form for legacy.
All right, so feel free to plug.
Okay,
This is it.
new hot single, No Filter.
No filter.
And I understand it might have been nominated for Grammy Awards. I will
Really?
have a new nomination for No Filter, my new single.
Congrats.
Yeah. That's
Is there going to be an album or an EP?
I don't even know now. Let me just give credit to George Pettis and Angela Pettis for writing in the song and the lyrics, and Terry Hunter for co-producing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with them, and I have a lot of music that we've done. So they may have music actually on file that they want to put into an album, but They really focused on this to taking it as far as they can and getting all the, because everything is different than it was like before. You have to do a few things politically and strategically to make sure you get the juice out of it. So we haven't really thought about an album. We want to see what we can get out of this first. Because everything's so different than it was before.
What does Melba Moore enjoy doing outside of the hustle and bustle of entertainment?
You know what I do? When I don't have anything to do daily, I go to church and sit in front of the Blessed Sacrament and be quiet and see, can I hear him tell me something? Just sit there. And you know, it's funny. People come and they sit there and they have a security guard. You know what he be doing? Going around waking them up because they be snoring. But to just, not just relax, but how could you say, let stuff come out of you? Clean up, because I'm getting ready to go to I've never done a book before, and I have a brand new single, and I've already got a Grammy Award nomination. This means I'll have plenty of things to do and plenty of things to adjust to. So I'm trying to see, can I let the Lord, not me, clean me out so he can do what he wants to do? Then I'll know, if I have spare time, what to do with it.
Yeah, it's a cleansing, a mental cleansing.
Yeah.
Okay.
To see, you know, if you have spare time, if you have things like you want it, what do you want to do with it? I want him to tell me. I don't want to make it up myself.
All right. So, Miss Moore, we have the single No Filter, Grammy-nominated. We have This Is It, Marvelous and Getting Better, the memoir coming in November. You still have the one-woman show.
Well, it's a one-woman play with music, because if you say show, it'll sound like it's a concert.
One-woman play.
With music.
With music. You're being honored at the Kimmel Center. Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2023. I'm loving this. I'm loving all of the adulation.
Yeah.
The flowers.
Yeah.
Just the perseverance. Yeah. So you're prime example to never give up, even when the industry blackballs you, or if you're ahead of your time and a lot of the things that you were doing years ago is accepted and you're often not recognized. I'm glad that this day is coming. This day is here. So
You said it in a nutshell. That's beautiful.
Of course. I mean, you're immaculate. You're a treasure. You're simply marvelous. Thank you again, Miss Melba Moore.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure. And for Stop, Look, and Listen, I'm your host, LeTroy Gardner. See you next week. Peace and blessings.